welcome back to part 2 of your clay air plant hanging. How are your pots doing? I hope they made it through with no issues, and it's time to hang them now. So this part is going to be pretty quick and easy. Just to check on your pots right now, I want to make sure that they're totally dry and ready to hang. So the way that you can tell if they're completely dry is if they are all one solid color. So if you see any like darker patches or they look a little uneven, that might mean that they're not completely dry yet. Or if you feel like they're still kind of cold to the touch, then they might need a little bit more time to dry. So I have a set here that is completely dry. I've already kind of lined them up from small to large because that's how we're gonna hang them. And I have a pair of scissors, which I'm gonna need. I have my air plants, which are just gonna be kind of for the finishing touch, so we can set that aside. And I'm actually gonna put the pots aside for now too while we prep the string and the little hook. So in your kit, you got 2 pieces of cotton cord. Something like this. Cool. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna wanna do with this is just line them up so that they're nice and even. So I'm starting at the end. Perfect. So now I have 2 strands next to each other, and I went ahead and kind of found the middle part of the strings. I'm holding them both together, so I have 2 strings together. I found the middle spot. Now what you're gonna wanna do is take your wooden ring and you're gonna insert that loop at the end, or the middle, I guess I should say, of the strings and put it right into that ring. So just go ahead and thread it through. You can check to make sure that they're still even right now, but it's really not that important. Okay, so once you have that loop, why does that look funny? There we go. Once you have that loop there, all you're gonna do is take the length of the strings and pull it through the loop that you just inserted. So we're gonna go like that, and now you can tighten it, okay? So as you're tightening it, these should still be pretty even on the bottom. I'm gonna give it a nice tug. Easy peasy. All right. So this is what it should look like. I'll go ahead and give you a close-up on this one, and I'll do a little close-up camera demo of that again, just in case you missed it. All right, one more time here. So I have the middle of both strings in my hand, and I'm going to insert that loop through the wooden ring. Just go right through. Perfect. Pull it down a little bit. Now you're gonna take the length of the string and pull it through that loop. Okay, so it should look something like this. Go ahead and tighten it up. And there you have it. Super easy. All right, go ahead and lay your string out in front of you. You're gonna need your scissors for this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually be cutting the strings in increments so that they get shorter and shorter and shorter, so you get that nice vertical kind of cascading effect. Now, this definitely doesn't have to be perfect at all. If you wanted to use something to measure, I don't blame you. So I'm gonna use the side of my card as we're going through and cutting, okay? Now, when you're looking at the strings on the hook, the part where the strings are wrapped kind of in the front, I don't know, I consider that the front, although it doesn't really matter, but for me, this is the way that I go about it. The part where the strings cross in front, this is gonna be the front of the hook. And why that's important is because when we're hanging it, the string all the way to the left is gonna be the shortest for the smallest cup, and the string all the way to the right is going to be the longest for the biggest cup, or pot, I guess I should say, okay? All right, so go ahead and lay them out in front of you, and you are going to just kind of separate it a little bit. So you're gonna have the string on the right, which is going to be the longest one. We have the next length, the one after that, and then the string all the way to the left. So I have it just kind of lined up out here in front of me. The string on the right, we're actually not going to cut. So we're gonna leave this one the longest. Now I'm gonna take my card and I'm gonna measure up from the bottom of that string. I'm just gonna kind of line it up. This does not have to be precise, I promise you, it'll still look amazing. And I'm gonna go and cut the next string over at the top of this card. So these I think are about 4 inches, which is perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and cut that next string. All right, so you can see we have about 4 inches in between the two. So I'm gonna slide this down a little bit, make sure you can see. And we are gonna do the same thing on the next string. So just keep these nice and straight. Take my card, this time line it up with the second string from the right. And we are gonna cut the next one right at the top of that. All right. And the last one we have is going to be the shortest string, the one all the way on the left. Same process. Use the card to kind of roughly measure here and give that a chop. All right. So what you are going to be left with is 4 different lengths of string all attached to the ring, ready to hang. All right, cool beans. Let's start tying these little clay pots onto the strings, and it's gonna be really simple. So I'm gonna start with the small pot, and as we did in part 1, we already have a hole in there. So all you're gonna do is insert the string. I'm starting again with the smallest pot, the shortest string, and you're just gonna put the string into the hole from the top into the inside of the pot like that, okay? Go ahead and pull it through, give yourself plenty of room to work. And you're gonna do a double knot here, and just go ahead and try to get it closest to the, or closer to the end. You can always trim it if you want. I leave the strings just how they are because I don't know, I like the rustic look. All right, so just a simple knot right at the end of the string. I'm gonna just kind of slide that down and do a basic knot. Now I'm gonna repeat it because you want this knot to be fat enough so that it doesn't slip through the hole. So go ahead and repeat that and try to overlap the second knot with the first knot. Just giving yourself a nice little fat knot. So that way, when you go to hang it, it doesn't slip through. Cool, right? Okay, I'm gonna do it again close up to the camera so you can see, just to make sure we're all squared away. I'll use my long one so I have a little bit of extra slack. All right, here we go again. So this is my biggest pot and I'm using my longest string. We're just gonna insert it from the top to the inside of the pot, pull it through, give yourself plenty of slack. I'm just gonna let that go on the table. All right, and for the knot, super basic, simple knot. Slide it down towards the tip. Cool. I'm not making it too tight because I want it to be nice and fat. And then we're just gonna repeat that one more time. Again, not too tight. Keep it nice and fat. And then we'll just test it, make sure it doesn't slip through. There you go, super easy. Awesome, now we'll go ahead and finish at the other 2 pots, and then this is ready to hang. All right, so lightning speed ahead. This is gonna be the finished project. Make sure that when you go to hang it, you use a nail because obviously these are a little bit heavy. And then you can just add your plants. So decide which ones you want where. Just kind of pop them in. Gravity sort of does the work and keeps them where they need to be. And that is it, guys. Now, when you go to water your plants, you're gonna wanna make sure that you take the plants out to water them. You can just mist them once or twice a week. Make sure that they're nice and dry before putting them back in the pots, because we don't wanna reactivate any of the clay by re-wetting it, so make sure it stays dry. Also, if you wanted to, you can totally paint the pots. I meant to say that earlier. If you wanted to add some color or some designs on them, any acrylic craft paint would work perfectly fine. You can seal it with any type of acrylic paint sealer. There's tons out there, Mod Podge, Liquitex, there's all sorts of different brands. If you want some suggestions, just reach out to me if you decide that you want to paint it. So that's it, guys. Find a nice sunny spot in your house, hang this up. The plants are gonna love it next to a window. And again, I hope you had so much fun with this project. Please reach out if you have any feedback, any questions, need any new plants, and share with your friends if you loved it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Again, my name's Julie, and I appreciate you. Bye.